The translation in this second reading that we use here in church is the family-friendly version of what Paul was saying. It's tame enough for everyone to hear. The body is not for immorality, but for the Lord. Yeah, no kidding, Paul. Pretty simple message if you read it that way. Well, turns out Paul is not talking about ordinary sin. He's talking about sexuality. He's saying that what we do with our bodies is of prime moral importance. To quote my Catholic study Bible, far from being a terrain that is morally indifferent, the area of sexuality is one of our relationship with God and is very intimately expressed. So, on a common sense level, that makes sense. In that area of life, there is the potential to hurt other people beyond repair. What we do with our bodies and the bodies of others, it is not meaningless. There are deep and lasting effects, good and bad, that result from intimacy, and that's true whether you ignore those effects or not. To get deeper into it, I think it's worth exploring the matter in terms of economics. When I go to Subway, I pay the person behind the counter, and they labor to make me a sandwich. They work for my benefit, and all that's fine. That is basic economics. Money in exchange for goods and services, no trouble there. But now let's say someone goes to a bordello or some other house of ill repute. If you don't think about it too closely, nothing is different. You're still paying a person just like you would at Subway, and they're working for your benefit all the same. It is still money exchanged for goods and services. Financial transaction like any other. Only now there is a fundamental difference. That person that you just paid, they're not only providing you with the object of your purchase, they are the object of your purchase. So you're not buying a sandwich. The object of your purchase is the person. So even if it's only for an hour, you're buying a human being. That's slavery. It is always bad to own a human being because human beings are not objects. And with that in mind, it seems perfectly clear that today people love slavery. We love to own people these days, as long as we don't call it slavery. As long as we call it something else, it's apparently fair game. I paid her $20, therefore it's not slavery. Wrong. You're still buying a person. Or to look at it from the other side, they're selling something of themselves that should never be traded away for any price. It's true that this is the extreme end of things, but any time you participate in the sex industry, from bachelor parties to free pictures on a screen, you are strengthening an industry that is slavery by any other name. And Paul knew all of this in his own way. He saw the great potential that we have within us. We can create amazing goodness with and for another person. That is the power of intimacy and love. It is not to be underestimated. But we can also be terribly, terribly cruel. And so much human cruelty comes down to the way that we abuse others and their bodies. It is not puritanical or old-fashioned to say no to all that garbage. It's bravery and resilience. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, because they will try. Now, if you're guilty of any of this, that doesn't make you a bad person. People are astoundingly complex. We are complex creatures, and that's even ignoring the factors of addiction and temptation that just surrounds our collective desire for reproduction. But no matter the circumstances, it is always important for us to recognize this stuff for what it really is. Conquering sin always starts the same way. Whether it takes 2 days, 10 years, or a lifetime, conquering sin always begins with the same first step. Tearing away its camouflage and seeing it for what it is. Because in addition to caring for our own souls, we possess a communal responsibility to protect the dignity of all people. We automatically have a divine imperative to resist anything that harms other people or diminishes the dignity of other people. Slavery is on that list, of course. How could it not be? But be warned, slavery takes many different forms. When we treat others as objects, as if we can buy and sell them, we participate in that harmful and therefore sinful behavior. So instead, let's be people of bravery and resilience. Let's look the ugly truth in the eye, and by the grace of the Holy Spirit, let's be ready to fight back against an evil that has claimed far too many of our loved ones already.